Hey everyone, welcome to the investor.bet try scorer preview for NRL round 2024. In this video, something I started up last week, I'm going to go through each matchup and go through who are going to be the most likely try scorers for that game. And to do this, we use a couple of different tools from the NRL bet finders, which I'll put the link to in the description if you want to use these for yourself throughout the week leading up to the game. But firstly, one of the first tools is looking at the try scorer trends overall for the season. So we go through these for each team. And then two of the other main things is this right here is something new that I've created for this weekend's games, and we're going to be using it for the rest of the season. It's taking the same principles that I've used for the past few years on NBA betting. So betting on points, rebounds, assists, three-pointers, and blocks in the NBA for those player props, and applying those same principles to the NRL and using this same format that makes it really, really quick and easy to analyze games and see where strengths and weaknesses are and where the potential try scorers are going to come from. And then the other tool we use is the tries by position ranking. So here we can see where each team stacks up against the rest of the league in scoring tries in that position and conceding tries to the opponent's position on the other side of the field. So we're going to run through the games, going to bring up the betting odds as well. We're just going to use Sportsbet and Neds, but obviously definitely shop around. And the other thing that I meant to tell you guys last week, when it comes to betting try scorers, kind of the best way you want to approach it is betting all the plays to win a certain amount. And you can look at it as just betting to win one unit. So the players where their odds are slightly shorter, you want to stake more onto those players, and the ones that are longer odds, stake less on those players, as opposed to level staking them or doing random amounts across each one, just kind of based on a gut feeling or something like that. Now, getting into it. So Canberra versus the Warriors is the opening game played tonight. There are a few positive situations in this game, and all of them are with the Warriors, because if we look at the Raiders, I'll just quickly explain this table for you guys so it makes sense what you're looking at here. Firstly, for the Raiders, this is their tries for column based on position. Here is where it ranks in the overall league. So you can see that Canberra ranked 15th in the league in tries by their fullback. 17th is the worst, first is the best. So if it's red, that means, they're pretty poor in that position. And you can see a lot of these positions here for Canberra aren't that great, where most of their tries come are from the second row in terms of how they stack up against the overall league. And the opponent tries against these two columns here. We're looking at where the Warriors concede their tries. So the Warriors do concede a high number of tries to opponent fullbacks. So they are ranked low in that category, being 16th. However, they concede the least number of tries to opponent second rowers. And if we come over to the power rankings here for the tries by position, the Warriors to second rowers, you can see here they're equal first, conceding just 7 tries overall on the season. However, to fullbacks, ranked 16th, conceding 13 tries, with only the Titans being worst in that category. So that's kind of how we're looking at it. And basically, when you're going through this, you're looking for good try scorer situations, because there's really two ways you can use this. Is you can look at it to find which players are most likely to score tries or going to be most advantage, and you can also look at it from a who's going to win the game perspective, because in some of these games, which we'll go through in a second, there's situations where teams where their strengths are also in attack, are also where the opponent's strengths are in defense. It's going to make it very tricky for them to score. So when you're looking at this, and for alternating sides, we're just looking at the Raiders first of all, we're really looking for situations where we've got a green highlighted number in this column that I just highlighted and a red number in the left-hand column there. And then on this side for the Warriors, we're looking for green numbers here, red numbers on this side. And the bigger the discrepancy between the two, the more advantageous of a situation that's going to be. And just to break it down a little bit further, the next level is when we've got 2 red numbers, that means the opponent's going to struggle to stop that position. However, that team doesn't really take advantage of it. And if we've got 2 green numbers like we have here, the Raiders ranked 3rd and the Warriors ranked 1st in that category, it means that it's also going to be difficult for that player to score tries. The opposition doesn't give tries up to that situation, which is going to impact their overall scoring. So straight away, looking at this, just in a couple of seconds, we can already see there's no positive situations for the Raiders in this game. However, on the Warriors side, there are a couple of positive situations. Firstly, the right center for the Warriors. This is they're pretty much close to one of their best situations. However, the player lining up for the Warriors at right center, Rabbitohs, has only played the one game overall in the season. However, he did score a try in that one game back in round 11. So he has scored, but very inexperienced. So in this kind of situation, I think we're getting about $3.80 for him to score a try. It's a potential option, but it's not really the best play. Just is very inexperienced overall. But as I said, did score a try in his only game so far in his career. The better situation for this game, and the one that I do want to target, come back over here, is the halves for the Warriors. They're ranked second in tries to their halves, and also ranked 13th in try. The Raiders are ranked 13th in tries conceded to this position, and the Warriors ranked third in tries to the front row, and Raiders give up the most tries to opponent front rowers. Now, when we come back over here, there's two players that kind of stand out that I want to take advantage of this. Firstly, Adam Fanua-Blake has scored 6 tries overall in the season, scores a try in 31% of games. He hasn't scored for the past 4 weeks. However, he did score against the Raiders back in round 3. So he's definitely top selection in this game. And then Harris Tavita is the other player I want to look at here. So far this season, he's only scored 4 tries in 27% of games. And realistically, you could be between Tamari Martin as well, who's also averaging around a try in 30% of games this season. However, I just slightly prefer Harris Tavita, as he's going to be playing on the right side for the Warriors, playing 5'8", which means they're ranked 11th in the right edge, where more of their tries comes from, as opposed to the left edge. They're ranked second last in that category. And also the Raiders defense is slightly worse on against the right edge. So he's the more preferred play in that game. And both of them are paying like fairly big odds. So this is one where I feel like we can take either one of those two players to score a try. So we've got Fanua-Blake and Harris Tavita, either player to score a try at $2.20 there for the opening game. And as I said, you could kind of switch to Harris Tavita to Tamari Martin if you prefer. However, I do prefer this option. But overall, it's a game where there isn't really that many good situations, so you just want to tread carefully. Then Rabbitohs Tigers is one where there are plenty of good situations. Obviously, Tigers and Rabbitohs both lowly ranked defenses, and we should get a fairly high scoring game here. First good situation for the Rabbitohs. At fullback, they're ranked 3rd in tries scored, and the Tigers ranked 14th in tries conceded. Jai Gray's playing fullback for the Rabbitohs. So far this season, he's only scored 2 tries, but has scored in his past 2 games. Didn't score in his 3 games earlier on this season. The fact of the form that he is in currently against the Tigers, I feel like he can get over the line and score a try. And we're getting $2.25 for him to score. So that's going to be the first play in this game. Then if we come back over, the next of the good situations in this game is looking into the wingers. So just overall in general, the Rabbitohs ranked 7th in wingers tries, and the Tigers concede the second most tries to opponent wingers. So Alex Johnston and Jacob Gagai, the 2 players to be able to take advantage of this. However, they are both paying fairly small odds. They're both in the $40s, which can be expected in this matchup. But on Neds, we can get both of those players to combine for 2 or more tries at $1.72. So that's going to be the play in that game. The other really good situation for this matchup is the halves for the Rabbitohs, ranked 5th, and the Tigers give up the most tries to opponent halves. So Jack Whiten, Cody Walker are the players to take advantage of that. But just going to go with the 2 plays in that matchup with fullback Jai Gray and the wingers to combine for 2 tries. Knights versus Broncos. It's going to be like, this is a little bit of a tricky game because the lineup changes, etc. with the Broncos. As it currently stands, that's still not completely finalized. However, it does look like Adam Reynolds is going to play, which definitely helps the Broncos left edge, which is their strongest side. As it stands, they score the most tries to the left winger, and overall left edge, they're ranked 4th overall in the league compared to their right edge, where they're ranked 15th. So I'm going to target two players here with the Broncos. If we go over to Sportsbet, they're going to be Jesse Arthurs and Dean Mariner. On the trends, Dean Mariner has scored 14 tries in the season, scored one try in 67% of games, averages just under a try. Hasn't scored in his past two, but I think he can get back on the board here. And has been pretty consistent overall throughout the season in scoring. And Reynolds getting back into the team on that left edge will dramatically help. Dean Mariner's playing center this week, and then Jesse Arthur's playing on the wing. He missed quite a number of games through the mid part of the season, hasn't scored in his 3 games back, but was consistent in scoring earlier on in the season. And I think in this situation against a Knights left wing that is 3rd worst in the league, represents a really good opportunity for him to score. So we're playing both of those. On the Knights side, you notice their right edge is ranked 16th in the league, particularly right wing ranked 17th. So even though the Broncos struggle defensively there, Knights aren't really equipped to be able to take advantage of it. And then on the left edge, they're not really that strong either. The centers is probably the only real positive situation for them, as they're ranked 3rd there, and Broncos ranked mid-packed in conceding tries to that position. The players there for the Knights is Dane Gagai and Bradman Best. Both of those players backing up for Origin, and at the prices, just happy to stay out in that situation with those players on the backup and just go with the 2 Broncos players on that left edge. There was one other situation for the Broncos in the halves as well. Reynolds likely to play, makes the combination Ezra Mam and Adam Reynolds. Ezra Mam has been fairly consistent. He's scored 8 tries so far this season and scored in 44% of games. However, prefer just to play the left edge there for the Broncos in that game. Roosters versus Storm. This is definitely the best game of the weekend. Top of the table clash. There's 2 good situations here that I want to highlight. Storm, firstly, in the halves is where their best situation is. They score the most tries through the halves combination, and this is where the Roosters concede the most tries. So if we target Tyron Wishart and Jerome Hughes here as the halves combination for the Melbourne Storm, and you can get even money for either one of those players to score a try. The reason why I do like this is also because the Roosters are the #1 right edge defense and #1 left edge defense, which is going to make it very difficult for the Storm to get across the line. And also, they're not really that strong in attack in either of those, ranked 6th and 9th. So it's not like they're #1, #2 side in those categories. Definitely wary of Pappenhausen scoring a try as well. He's been very, very consistent and scored in both games since returning. And earlier on this season, was scoring in majority of games, scored a try in 70% of games overall. So he's another one to look out for. I'll just quickly see what he is currently paying. $1.92. So it's definitely not the worst play as the other potential option there for the Storm. And then for the Roosters, come back over here. There's a couple of situations for the Roosters, but the one I like the most is targeting their left edge overall, but especially left wing, because if we come back over to team announcements, Tupanua is playing left center for the Roosters this week, and he's played left center his last 2 games, but prior to that was mostly coming off the bench and playing in the second row. So it's not really all that good of a situation. He is playing fairly big odds to get across the line, and considering how much the Roosters should be targeting their left edge going against the 12th ranked left edge defense, it is definitely an option, but Dominic Young playing left wing should definitely get across the line. He's only paying $1.50 to score a try, but definitely happy with playing that. You definitely want to shop around on try score markets, just using Sportsbet here as the example to show you guys, but definitely shop around and look for the best odds. Even getting $1.55, $1.60 for players, it's definitely well worth it in the long run. Don't just use one company and just keep betting with them. Get the best odds for every bet you put on. It'll go a long way towards your overall profit in the end. But I think with the Roosters, Dominic Young crossing line, definitely clearly the best situation. Roosters scored the most tries through the left wing, and Storm ranked 13th in that category. I feel like that is definitely the best situation there for the Storm Roosters game. Panthers versus Dolphins. Uh, for the Panthers, the only one real situation that stands out is in the front row. They're ranked 5th in tries to the front rowers and ranked the Dolphins ranked 11th in tries conceded. However, we bring up the trends here. Moses Leota, scroll down, find him, has only scored 1 try on the season. Mitch Kenny playing hookers only scored 2 tries this season, and Fisher Harris only scored 2 tries this season as well. So they're very low percentage plays. So I'm not going to get involved. They're all paying around the $6 to $8 mark. I'm just going to stay out of those. The play though for the Dolphins is on the left wing, and that is with Jack Bostock. Dolphins ranked 3rd in tries scored, and this is the weakest part of the Panthers defense, ranked 13th in tries to the left wing. So he's definitely the best option in this game. I'm paying $2.35 or around that mark. He potentially could even get better for him to score a try. If we bring up his recent form, overall in the season, scoring a try in 60% of games, finds a good matchup here and scored a try in 3 of his past 4 starts. So he's definitely the play there in the Panthers-Dolphins game. Seagulls versus Titan. This is likely the highest scoring game of the round. So you want to attack this matchup and look for some good opportunities. Firstly, for the Seagulls, at fullback, Tom Trbojevic is back playing. The Seagulls ranked 5th in tries at the fullback. Titans give up the most tries to the fullback. So no prizes for guessing. We want to take advantage of Trbojevic. He's played 2 games back, scored last week in their big win against Newcastle. And before he was out injured, scored in 4 consecutive games. So definitely like him in this matchup. Paying around $1.55, slightly better for Trbojevic to score a try. Next situation for the Seagulls is left center, ranked 2nd in the league. Titans ranked 12th overall in the league. And Ruben Garrick's currently playing left center for the Seagulls. So far this season, he scored 8 tries and scored a try in 40% of games. You could also look at centers overall for the Seagulls. Tommy Talau plays right center, where the Seagulls are number 1 in the league. Titans ranked 8th defensively. So you definitely could play either one of those. The reason I'm leaning towards Ruben Garrick, though, as the left center is just because he has a really good record in scoring against the Gold Coast Titans, and paying $2.35 there for Ruben Garrick to score a try. And then the other play, Cam Pereira, $1.65. I'll come back over here. Titans, right wing, ranked number 1 in the league, and Seagulls right wing defense ranked 16th in the league. So he gets back-to-back weeks with ideal situations. Last week, the Titans played the Eels, who were ranked 17th in this category. This week, gets a slightly harder matchup, but not really much at all. So he'll be the 3rd play in that game. And that wraps up the 11 plays, because the Cowboys Bulldogs game doesn't really represent any good opportunities whatsoever, where teams are strong defensively, the opposition's also strong, and where they're weak, the opposition teams not that strong in that situation. Could look at this and see Cowboys second row is probably the best situation. When looking through the try scorer trends for those, the second row for this matchup for the Cowboys, they're all 3 of them are right here, and they've all only scored 2 to 3 tries overall in the season, averaging a try in just 18% of games. Potentially, it'd be most likely one of them gets across the line, and you could take a situation where one of the 3 scores a try, but you're going to get very low odds for that. And just happy to stay out of that situation, as I feel like any one of the 3 could cross, as it's a good situation for all of them. And then for the Bulldogs, they really don't have any strong situations either that stand out whatsoever. So this is a game where there's no real situation to take advantage of, so we can happily sit back and let that game go. And we've got 11 plays across the other 7 games coming up this weekend. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about the new setup for analyzing the games. Obviously, the other way you can do it is using the overall rankings, like I demonstrated in the video last week. Let me know if you preferred last week's version or the new one in the comments. And good luck this weekend with your bets on the NRL. If you haven't already, check out the full round preview of the head-to-head total points matchup. It'll be one of the previous videos on the channel. That breaks down who I think is going to win each game, why, what other potential bets I'm looking at having on these games. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any videos. And if you want to use the Bet Finder tools for the try scorers or for the full game matchups, break down the statistics, and also go through the betting trends, which teams have been covering, all those things, and where teams are performing at their best, definitely check out the Bet Finders. That's where you can also get all my plays as well. And yeah, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for watching.